Thanks, guys. Nice one, guys. Yes. But again, it's about acclimating the population to the presence of military troops and heavily armed officers all the time at every major event. But their presence is absolutely unmistakable. Everywhere you go, there are troops all over this site, in the village itself, which is where I'm at, and at all the entranceways to all the public transport. Iraq, Afghanistan, Sierra Leone, and now our troops are being deployed in East London to provide security for a sporting event. Oh, how far we've come in the 21st century. And it's all about getting us used to troops in our lives every day on the street, keeping us safe. And right now in 2012, the Olympics is about this. It's about money. A lot of the major banks are behind this event, including companies like Barclays, who basically were given massive tax breaks, and the government would promise to look the other way on a number of infractions in exchange for sponsorship. And that's Barclays. This is Visa here. God knows what deal they were given in exchange for their support of the 2012 Games. One of the main sponsors of the 2012 Games, Cisco, a cloud system, or cloud memory, cloud computing, and the Cisco servers are the ones that are handling the face recognition technology, which has been deployed all over the site. Again, they want to let you know that you are being watched, and Cisco is providing the computing power for that technology. No access into the Cisco area unless you have the proper pass, or this lady will send you home. And of course, one of the biggest talking points about this Olympics is the security. They're everywhere in the thousands. One of the biggest concerns for any public event, naturally, is whether the people are going to be safe and secure. But the question is, what is the threat? We saw earlier the heavily armed police. This is the G4S variety of security, ready for anything, ready for any eventuality. Here we are again, just outside the main site. And one of the main things to sort of pay attention to here is that the site, the Olympic site itself, is totally self-contained, completely and hermetically sealed. So you have to ask yourself the question, why on earth would you need to employ 10,000 security to patrol a site that is really nothing more than a square mile at the most? And also on top of that, why you would need to deploy the more British Army soldiers that are currently stationed in the whole of Afghanistan. You really got to ask yourself these questions. The site is completely secure and be very easy to control access and egress with a normal amount of security staff, basically trained with police to help. Of course, when it comes to the Olympics, nothing is more important than marketing, and we've seen some very strange and bizarre things around the marketing of the London Olympics. The children's cartoons have some of the most warped and disturbing computer-generated characters one has ever seen. But as bad as that is, nothing could prepare you for the one-eyed monster and his evil twin, Og and Magog. Yes, it's all about the kids. They could have thought of anything. It could have been the British Lion. It could have been the Beefeater. It could have been the Buckingham Palace Guards or the British Bulldog. But they chose a one-eyed Cyclops as the mascot for London 2012. God knows what was going through their head when they concocted this little beast. This is the satanic toy, the one-eyed beast. In the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. Read into that what you will, but is genuinely the most frightening kid's toy ever made in the history of sports or anything like that. And then we have the one-eyed beefeater, also a satanic representation of the famous beefeaters from the Tower of London. And changing of the guard, again, the one-eyed Antichrist type caricature, which they're selling to kids. And there he is, the official mascot of the Olympic Games, the Wenlock Olympic mascot. Absolutely frightening thing for kids. But again, this is what they're pushing this year. God knows what it means and what it's for, but we hope we don't have to find out. An incredible representation of occultic and other mainstream religion prophecies. Of course, the Antichrist was one-eyed. In the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king, etc., etc. But yes, that is the World Olympic logo mascot. Not very pleasant and somewhat scary, if you ask me. Really a disgusting, evil, vile, disturbing little creature. And these are everywhere, plastered all over London, in every shop, every off-license, every department store, every tube station. You'll find little versions of this. Incredible. They love the one-eyed beast. Everyone wants a picture with the one-eyed beast. Everyone wants to get photographed with this Cyclops. Millions of people are going to be photographed with the Cyclops over the next 2 weeks. You'll see millions of images on Facebook and the social networks of people with the one-eyed Cyclops beast, the satanic mascot of the London 2012 Olympics. Isn't he wonderful? Call it overkill, call it security theater, call it anything you want, but one thing is certain: the amount of security and police presence and heavy arms and military hardware surrounding this site in Stratford, East London is unprecedented. So let's just hope that there's not another 7/7 type event being staged by some of our rogue operatives in the various agencies this summer. It would be great to see these games go off without a hitch. That's what we're hoping for. This is Patrick Henningsen for INFOWARS.com.
You know, it seems like every time I host the news, I cover at least one TSA story, and this time is no different. We have a clip I want to show you right now. This is from Luke Rudowski from We Are Change, and he covers an incident that occurred in Union Station in Chicago, and there is a citizen journalist who, you know, he's a roaming correspondent for wearechange.org, and he was labeled a terrorist, and he was threatened with arrest for, oh my God, he filmed a TSA checkpoint. Well, you got to see it to believe it. Let's take a look.
All right, We Are Change is very happy to announce that we have a new correspondent in the Midwest, Julio Raseo of Illinois. Now, 2 weeks ago, Julio released a great video showing how TSA agents were setting up a checkpoint at the Union train station in Chicago.
We have TSA agents. You know, these aren't police officers. They don't have a right to grope us. They don't have a right to wear any badges. They're not authorized law enforcement agents, yet they have the audacity to do what they do at the airports. They have the audacity to come to our train stations.
Now, the video was a big hit, even with Amtrak police who worked within Union Station, and they actually targeted and found Julio a week later when he was having dinner at Union Station, came up to him and tried to intimidate and harass him. But as a good journalist always does, he took out the video camera and recorded everything that happened.
What's the law?
Are you going to listen, or you going to be kicked out of here and you're going to piss me off?
No, I don't want to piss you off.
You're going to listen.
I want to listen.
Listen.
I want to know what law.
You still talking. I'm telling you to your face.
Yes.
Do not videotape us. If you come beyond that point.
Yeah, but I'm not beyond that point. I'm here at the restaurant.
If you come like you did before,
right,
come beyond that point, you're going to jail, sir, because it could be used for terrorist activity. Right now, you're in violation because
what kind of terrorism?
Because people know a time, the date. You gave an explanation about TSA.
Yeah, but I'm a reporter. But I'm a reporter.
Show me ID with a reporter. Did you approach us and say, hey, I want to take video?
I didn't think I had to. I thought this was America.
Oh, yeah. No, America is nothing. You know better. Where's your ID?
I'm not doing anything illegal.
Yeah, yes you are.
I'm not going to give you my. I'm not doing anything illegal.
Let me have your ID.
For what's the reason?
Because
I'm not at the security checkpoint. I'm not at the Amtrak.
Wait a minute. You did do it. We just didn't catch you. You got to remember something. You did a violation. We didn't know it was going to go on YouTube. I would like to take this video. And the video didn't even come. It came from the government. They sent it to us because now somebody's taking pictures of us doing our activity.
There's policies and procedures. You're obviously a rookie journalist because any seasoned journalist would know that you follow policy and procedure. Your policy, if you wanted to record, was to go to the management.
It was an impromptu recording. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
A normal journalist and a professional journalist would know to go to the management office, okay, get a permit, who you are, why you're, let me finish, who you are, what you're doing, and why you're doing it. Then they escort you, and you are able to execute your First Amendment right.
But my permit is the Constitution. You don't need a specific permit to film.
For me, journalism is reporting something that somebody somewhere wants to suppress. And to me, that is a lot more professional than having a government escort and asking permission to film something that our government is doing.
And thank you, Luke. Thank you, Julio. You know, what Julio said right there is at the end, my permit is the Constitution. And if that video doesn't get your blood boiling, I don't know what will, because that is a clear violation of the Fourth Amendment and, you know, blatantly unconstitutional. Meanwhile, the TSA, you know, they've announced that they are going to expand their Viper program. It will now include, you know, bus terminals, train stations, and even roadside checkpoints of commercial vehicles. So they have simply gotten out of control. And you know, and after that fiasco and the tragedy in Aurora, Colorado, don't be surprised if next thing you see is TSA groping your kids before you go into a movie theater. Mark my words, they're going to hype up security big time. So, all right, before we go to break, we're actually we got a new study that here's an interesting study that was just released about the effects of fluoride. And this is a Harvard study that finds fluoride, it lowers your IQ. This was published in a federal government journal. Harvard study finds fluoride lowers IQ. Harvard University researchers' review of fluoride brain studies conclude, quote, our results support the possibility of adverse effects of fluoride exposure on children's neurodevelopment. And it goes on to say significantly lower IQ than those who lived in low fluoride areas. Further, the EPA says that fluoride is a chemical with substantial evidence of development neurotoxicity. You know, we've been telling you this stuff for years, folks, but how much you want to make a bet that it's not going to prevent, you know, most cities from removing the fluoride from our water supply. In fact, they might even make it a state mandate, you know, that the state will step in and make sure that all the communities fluoridate our water supply. But interesting results just the same. Hey, and that's going to bring us to our quote of the day. This one from Henry Kissinger. Today, Americans would be outraged if UN troops entered Los Angeles to restore order. Tomorrow, they will be grateful. This is especially true if they were told there was an outside threat from beyond, whether real or promulgated, that threatened our very existence. It is then that all peoples of the world will pledge with world leaders to deliver them from this evil. The one thing every man fears is the unknown. When presented with this scenario, individual rights will be willingly relinquished for the guarantee of their well-being granted to them by